Marquita. Girl, I feel like I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays.
At least not on here.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I have my light. I was actually a few minutes late. I was trying to do something a little clever, a little creative, but I had a couple, of course, phone calls right when I am ready to go live.
Always like that.
So yeah, you know how that works. So yay! All right, now we're live and excited and full of energy. We already have a watcher out there. Thank you so much for joining us. Marquita, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you recognize where I am virtually? Nope. One more guess. I'm in a Dubai state of mind. This is where we were. This is our hotel. We were sitting out having where we would have breakfast every morning. Yeah, and then you could go and sit in the lounge chairs if you want in the afternoon or evening and do hookah, whatever. And there's the water behind us. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, I definitely did book my travel unsold hotel room at 70% off with 2 years to travel. So at some point, I got to make it back in this 2 year period, God willing.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I have yet to. I didn't take advantage of that. Is it too late?
I doubt it. Unsold.com is what it's called. So they're guaranteeing unsold.com.
Okay.
They're guaranteeing a 4-star hotel. Of course, they don't reveal it till you time you book. You have 2 years to travel from the date of actually reserving.
Yeah, that's actually great because that's great. I have to check to see. I'm surprised Christian didn't mention anything like that to me because she's usually on top of stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it came through my news feed, then I clicked on it, and of course, they kept retargeting me. So I reached out to my friend in Dubai, and he's like, the amount for that is unprecedented, right? He's like, you at least got to take a chance.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I figure a 4-star hotel over there is not going to be the Red Roof Inn, so.
Right, and honestly, I don't think you can do bad with any of the hotels that I remember in Dubai.
Well, again, the country's so young. I mean, how bad can it be? I mean, when we went, the hotel we were in, we were the first ones to actually stay there.
Oh wow!
With another couple other families. It was an A-loft that they had just opened.
Yeah, you can't beat that. I just don't think you can go do wrong there. And that's their whole mindset there too. Is all about the tourism and drawing the folks there. It's all so keeping it, and it's such a plush place. So you definitely want to make sure that. I'm sure they want to make sure that everything is top of the line. But anyway, well, once again, good morning, and we are back in living color, guys. I've heard some rumors. Folks have been like looking for us, like, hey, I hadn't seen us in a while, literally. And I was like, okay, we're definitely coming back this weekend. So here we are. And I mean, and that actually made me feel good to know that folks really do watch it. And we already have a question, or excuse me, a topic from one of our loyal listeners, should I say, watchers or person who participates is Amy wants us, to discuss next week. So you check out the comments. And everyone who may be joining us now, please, by all means, actually, I didn't tag anyone this morning. First faux pas of the year. Anyway, we're back. So it wouldn't be live if there wasn't a mistake. Anywho, this morning, Marquita, I wanted to chat with you a little bit about, and I've heard this question and I saw it pop up a couple of times in various spots, and thought I'd ask you, and it felt like a very good question because after seeing it, I thought, dang, it might be a good idea for me. Is now a good time, or to consider refinancing from a 30-year mortgage into a 15-year, especially with these historically low interest rates? So, even folks that have, some interest, some equity, and, they're in a good position, credit-wise and such, would this be a good time to consider or take advantage of a 15-year mortgage? And as we know, I mean, by reducing the mortgage time, obviously we're building the equity more in our home. And then of course, the ultimate is paying off the mortgage, paying it off. What's your take on that?
Um, Great question, Marquita Woods, MLS number 1960099. Everything I'm sharing today is not a commitment to lend, just information. When we start talking specifically about 15-year versus 30, you know my always answer. What is my disclaimer?
It depends. It's unique to
It
each
depends.
individual. Yes. Well, let's
It
just
really
be perfectly
depends.
Chris.
It
Let's
really
everything.
depends.
I'm sorry.
On your, it depends on your specific scenario, what your
Okay.
goals actually are. I will say, because we are in this historically low rate climate, that it is more attractive to many people that have owned their homes, maybe more than 5 years but haven't quite made it to 20 years. So it's
Right.
something that they want to think about. I mean, I see it a lot coming through our news feed from that one company that rhymes with sicken. It's an advertisement, right? That says everybody in America needs to go into a 15-year mortgage.
Right.
Well, the reason why someone would ever consider that is, I mean, obviously you mentioned it already. You're going to pay the home off faster if you haven't been there already, a certain period of time. So if you're not 15 years into a 30 year and you switch to a 15-year, the home, you're going to have full home ownership. The path to that is going to be quicker. The flip side to that, though, is that because you're amortizing the payment faster, the monthly payments are going to be higher. They're actually going to be higher because you're going to pay the loan off sooner. Okay. So it's going to be
Okay.
higher because you're going to pay the loan off sooner, but you will get the security faster knowing that you own your home at least free and clear from the mortgage and only have taxes to actually pay. The other part of that too is typically 15-year rates are lower than 30-year rates. So that means you're going to have a less interest cost from that perspective. So a lower interest rate, but again, payments are higher. The longer term savings shows up in the overall amount of interest paid. So if you're paying a lower rate, lower interest over that period, then that can make it much more beneficial for someone looking to own their home sooner. I think you have to look at each person's scenario because right now our 30-year rates for many people are sub three, right?
Right.
So there might be a better way to actually put the scenario together versus taking on the burden of being committed fully to that 15-year payment, which many times is higher. I actually had a little snapshot that I wanted to share. I don't know if I can share my screen.
Yeah. Let me make sure you have.
I think nope, you have it
Okay.
disabled. So yeah,
You can.
just to give
I
a
just.
good example. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about the numbers. I never try to sell a scenario. I always feel like it's best for, what your ultimate goals are. And if you feel like you're not going to, leave that home, then possibly this is something to look at in your overall financial plan, looking at the 15-year mortgage. So, can you see that? Or is it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
small? Maybe.
Nope.
I
Nope.
don't
It's
know.
actually full screen for me. I
So
see it.
yeah, I wanted to put together some numbers real quick just for everybody to look at, just a quick illustration of somebody that has a conventional loan and maybe they purchased at 3.5%. And as I mentioned, they haven't really had the loan for more than 10 to 15 years. 3.5% is a great rate, but if you could refinance into a 30 year at 2.5%, basically I'm just going to drop all the way down here to the total monthly payment. So you could save about $400 by refinancing into a 30. But if you went into 15-year with the rate slightly lower, the payment actually goes up by 400. So it's a matter of conventional. It's a longer time frame, higher rate. You lower the monthly amount, which many people really want cash flow. So it
Right.
still makes sense for them to do it. But here you have actually where on a conventional loan, you pay $400 more. But with that in mind, here is I'm just giving up the goods this week. Here is a quick way to still pay off the mortgage earlier, but not burden yourself with that higher 15-year payment. So this is basically an amortization schedule or
Right.
mortgage payment schedule of that same loan that I just showed,
Mhm.
where if you kept your payments, still paying the 2,000, even though it's only 1,600 on the 30-year, if you kept making the $400 extra payment, actually pay the loan off in 20 years, right? So
Right.
one way to hack a life hack, a mortgage hack, is to not burden yourself with the higher payment, but actually
Just make
be
one
able
extra
to,
payment.
yeah, yes, keep making the same payment that you were making on the current loan, pay the home off sooner, pay it off in 20 years instead of 15, but not necessarily be, like I said, burdened by the higher payment. Yeah.
$400
Yeah.
absolutely.
So just something to think about. If you kept making the 2,000, went with the lower rate on the 30, then you're not burdened with the payment that's $400 extra. So it really is all about people's specific scenario and actually doing that. But there's definitely a long-term savings gain with the 15-year mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So the other part of it, I think, is just the opportunity cost. I mean, many times we think, hey, I'm in this house and I'm going to be here for the entire time. And then life actually happens, right?
Right.
Right. So life actually happens. So, perhaps you have more equity in the house by doing the 15-year term, if you do have to end up selling or refinancing. So just some things to consider. I think it's all about everybody's specific scenario, but I think people would be foolish during this time not to look at their own personal scenario for refinancing. If
I
you haven't done it, I think you definitely should. You always can reach out to a knowledgeable mortgage lender like myself to review it. All we need is your mortgage statement to take a look and see what those benefits can be. Because let's just talk about it. I mean, 2020 threw
yeah,
some big curves at us that let us know, we need to stay ready, right?
absolutely. Yeah, you better stay ready. You gotta stay ready. So again, when they make that extra payment, do they just make the regular payment, or do they need to mark it or note that this is to be applied, towards a principal, or just making it, and then will the mortgage company automatically apply towards the principal?
Absolutely, they're not going to apply it. I mean, many people pay online. I know for my mortgage company, when I go to pay online, it has a box where you can check the amount that you want to apply to extra principal and it calculates the total payment. If you still use the payment book, they also usually have slots where you can check you're putting extra to the principal. So, absolutely, it needs to be noted that this needs to be applied to the principal. Doesn't change your monthly payment, but you're amortizing faster, basically, the compounding of doing that over time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's a good point. So thank you for that. Hey, I don't know, again, nobody has a crystal ball, but do you see, or in your network of mortgage lenders, loan officers, etc. Just what are you hearing? What are you hearing about interest rates, say, for this next quarter? I mean, we've got a new administration. We've got, of course, there's obviously going to be some new money that's coming, and we know what kind of drives it. But I mean, excuse me, more additional debt, because we're going to probably accumulate, obviously, to get a handle on this pandemic and of course our economy. But with that said, where do you see us in the next, with this quarter one, quarter two? Do you anticipate, or are you hearing whether the rates are going to go up, or what should we expect as consumers and our buyers that are out there shopping?
That's an excellent question. And there were all different predictions from the major associations, National Association of Realtor, Mortgage Bankers Association. We actually think rates in 2021 will go up. And since you asked, I have something else I can share to kind of go over that. So let me just drop that on the screen.
This is a new
Because
here, guys. We're gonna be sharing some stuff
share some stuff, like giving them the real deal. You need to be tuned in to get the real deal, not necessarily the fluff or the advertisements to get people to raise their actual hand. So let me see if I can share this screen for you real quick. Here you go. So yeah, so that is the prediction from
Yeah, that's
the
exactly
four
what
major indices right there: Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, which are pseudo government, pseudo agencies that run with the mortgage-backed securities. Then you have the Mortgage Basic Association, and you have NAR. So in the second quarter, yes, we expect to see rates actually tick up. All four of them seem to think that that's going to happen. Like I said, we've been sub threes, so we're looking to be at three, right around in there, and we've seen that. We've seen that in the first 2 weeks of the year. The first 8 days, we basically had an uptick in rates. Now, some of that is not really relevant, or it doesn't show up to the public because it's the cost of the actual loan. It's the moving of the market and the bond market on the back end. which, you know, your average loan officer may not even pay attention to, but it's just the overall cost. So what happens is it's very confusing to the public that people are putting out advertisements saying, hey, rates went down again. Meanwhile, on the back end, in real time, they've actually ticked up either from a cost perspective or actual rate perspective, depending on the specific scenario. So that's our mortgage rate predictions, and I think we are really trending towards that. Far as what I've seen in pricing out loans, just telling people don't wait, you know, don't wait. I had one person that was like, hey, I got you at the 2.25. They never filled out the app. Come back. I was like, well, it's 2.375 today, right? Which, you know, she probably could get back down there, but it's just a matter of stop trying to time the market. If it's your time, get in and get it done.
Absolutely. And again, you know, either way, it's still at a phenomenal rate. You still can't beat the
Right.
rate. But, you know, that makes a difference maybe in some folks' ability to move forward, depending on, like you said, their independent or individual scenario. I think that's some good stuff this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you for having those slides, because it certainly does help to kind of visually see where things are going. So, guys, again, as she's always said, you know, everybody's situation and scenario is different. But, you know, by all means, if you want to know more, drop some comments or question, DM, but Miss Marquita Woods, our Queen of Mortgage. And always, certainly, if you have questions for me, do the same. We would love to answer your questions live here online. And certainly feel free, as I mentioned earlier, or if you guys saw me this morning, I did my 1 of 30, and I mentioned that this year we really would love to get your engagement. We really want to hear from you. What is it that's important to you that you want to know about buying, whether it's on the real estate or the mortgage side? Either way, they are married together. So, you know, hit us up, let us know. We want to address it, because if you got that question, I can promise you somebody else does as well. So, Marquita, I don't have anything else for you, but one thing, completely off the subject.
Okay.
So all of you guys know Ringo that follow me. And then most of you know we brought a new one into our family. His name's Caden. I really shouldn't say this live, but I really think something's wrong with Caden. I do. So Caden is still, so I'm still, you know, still the jury is still out, right?
What do you mean something's wrong with Caden?
The dog is obsessed with like squeaky toys. He's hyper. It's just.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like really researching them. So if any of you guys know a good trainer for behavior and such, I think he wants to do right, but you know, it's just like anything. It's, you know, whenever I would do good, evil, or something's always present. You know, they don't say that saying that's in the Bible, but nonetheless, I think that applies to Caden. But he's totally obsessed with squeaky toys, and it just does something to him. And it does something else too, because in the middle of the night, if you step on it, he jumps off the bed, he wakes up, he goes bananas. Well, my husband shared this with us. This is one of the squeaky toys that he would obsess
over.
Alan cut squeak out.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, you can have a toy, but you cannot have squeak. So can you believe that? We are tearing up, ripping up, and removing squeaks in the toys in my house.
I heard that.
When I tell you, having a puppy or a dog, it is truly like having kids around the house.
Yeah. So you're thinking that the puppy has a little ADD or something? What? I don't know. I mean, do dogs? I guess dogs definitely have some challenges, but you know, bless his heart is all I can say. And bless you guys too, because squeaky toys would definitely drive me insane.
They're like this piercing. It has a piercing squeak that like
right.
Bananas. I'm like, all right. When he showed me this, I'm like, really, Alan? You actually? He goes. He said I was so asleep. I guess when this must have happened last night. I actually got some sleep, and the dog was just ready to do the squeak thing, and he's like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't do it. Take it. So anyway, I guess that's all I got for you guys. As always, you know, hit us up. We're here for you. Please make every day count, especially now. Tomorrow's not promised, you know, and so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. So on that note, I will bid you guys a wonderful day and see you next time.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye.